Hey everybody, welcome back. So, this video was supposed to be a DIY concrete countertop video for like a professional finish. Something nice and simple, you know? What I thought was going to be a relatively simple top and a quick, easy project with some amazing results turned to be anything but. And considering you guys like it when I show mistakes in my videos of the process and what happens and how to work through them, well, I figured this time I would show you nothing but. This entire project is nothing but a complete disaster reel, and I figured I'd take you through it. All the problems I had, how we found some of the fixes, and hopefully a little bit of a redemption arc. So let's get into it. All right, I am back inside, but that's only because I don't need to be outside to tell the rest of the story, and I can sit down in here, it's comfier. Now the start of the project was actually fine. Just pretty much as it always is. The form is usually never a problem. So I grabbed my melamine, I started cutting everything apart, and then I screwed it all together like normal. Then I cleaned the whole thing, grabbed my car wax, and I waxed it all so that way the form would pop off nice and easy later on. Siliconed all the edges and used my fondant ball tools to round over all my corners so that way I'd have a nice, smooth, beautiful rounded edge. Once that was done, I grabbed some shims, I leveled off my table where the form was sitting so that way everything wouldn't just run to one side, and everything was looking good. Then to prep for the pour, I went online, used a concrete calculator, figured out how much I was gonna need. I weighed that much out, I measured my water, I knew exactly how much dye I was gonna need, and I had everything set aside. It honestly just kind of felt like baking. You measure out all your ingredients and you have all your tools and everything ready to rock, except I wasn't really making cookies. I was about to make an entire slab of disappointment. Cookies would have been easier and tastier. I should have just made cookies. All right, let's get on to the first slab problems. First, I added my water into the bucket and then my dye, and then I mixed that up really briefly just to kind of get it incorporated. And then I added my concrete. Admittedly, I did add a little much at the start. At first, everything seemed relatively okay. I could still kind of mix it up. It was a little clumpy and a little thick, but the more I mixed, the worse it got. It just started sticking to the bucket. It was like trying to mix up a combination of like a rock and peanut butter. It just turned into a block in there. Some of it had water, some of it didn't. It was just all kinds of problems. I kept having to stop to scrape the sides of the bucket to chase down dry spots in the mix. And it literally wouldn't hydrate. Once I finally got everything off of the walls and mixed up, it would not hydrate. I started panicking. I was sweating. I was getting stressed out already because it was instantly just off to a bad start. At this point, I'd already added the maximum amount of water that I could, so I couldn't add any more. And so my genius brain kicked in, and in my mind it made sense. I pretty much dumped in an entire bag of flow control. Later on I found out, not so much, it probably wasn't the best idea, but we'll get into that. Anyway, the mix finally starting to loosen up, but it still felt a little off. It felt sticky. So I poured it into the form, smoothed it out as best that I could. I tried to vibrate it. It didn't really seem like it wanted to vibrate again. It felt like it was too sticky. And the worst part is, if that's the problem, it's gonna be holding on to air. I tried to rod it with my fingers just to kind of get out any air bubbles. Didn't really feel like it was working. But I got it spread out, and the backer coat came out of the bucket insanely dry. And that was just gonna trap a whole lot of air bubbles. It felt like I pretty much just poured wet sand out of the bucket and just kind of flopped into the form. And that just was a nightmare fuel to try and smooth back out. But anyway, I got it all done. I covered it with plastic and I let it sit for 48 hours, put it to bed. I came back at that point and I started removing the form, and the sides weren't bad, but they had more air bubbles than I was hoping for. So once I finally flipped it over and I removed the top, huge holes, like not just cute little pinholes or anything like that I've had before and you can fill in no problem. No, I'm talking craters. Like this thing had been through a meteor shower, just everywhere, massive holes. So I panicked again a little bit, but I thought, okay, I could fill these, and I'm not sure how it's going to look, but let's continue moving forward. So I did. Now again, I wanted to wet polish this to give it a really cool look, so I took it outside and I started wet polishing the whole thing. And the worst part is it looked awesome. The finish it was giving looked so cool with all the exposed aggregate coming out there. I was so happy. The downside is I was exposing even more and more voids. Now air voids mean there's no concrete there, and that means a weaker slab overall. And honestly, at this point, I was uncovering so many voids that by the time I actually took a slurry mix and filled in the entire top, it was going to end up being more slurry mix than original concrete. And wouldn't you know it, a couple days later, that one ended up cracking anyway. So rest in peace, slab one. See you later. All right, reset. Time for slab number 2. This time I ended up going with smaller batches. So I added all of my water and my dye to the bucket again, mixed that up, but I was only adding about 6 pounds of concrete at a time, and I was mixing that up. And this time, however, I was getting some clumps coming out of the bag, and sure, most of them I could break up with the mixer, and they were just turning into, concrete and incorporating nicely. That was fine. But some of them were really hard. I could not mix them or break them up, so I had to actually just pitch them out. They were hard as a rock. Overall though, this mix was looking better. This time, once I had everything mixed up in the bucket, it was looking fantastic. It was flowing better, it was much nicer, it wasn't clumpy or bumpy or thick like peanut butter. Looked awesome. And the best part was, this time I didn't need any flow control in it. It just worked perfectly as I felt that it should. This time, once I got everything poured into the form, it was working nicely. I could rot it with my fingers. I was using a chip brush to push it into the corners and along the face and everything, just to kind of pop all the air bubbles I possibly could. It was working nicely. I vibrated it, and then I also used a compaction roller on it to pop as many bubbles as I could. Everything seemed like it was going well. On this one, I thought no problem. I'm gonna have no bubbles this time. It's gonna be awesome. Confidence level was high. Then I poured the backer coat. That went smoothly, no problems had. Honestly, I was feeling good, so I put the whole thing to bed. And that's when it kicked me in the teeth. This is where another massive problem happened. So I came back to it after 48 hours, and wouldn't you know it, it wasn't dry. Already didn't feel good about that, but I thought, okay, I'll give it a little bit more time. I covered it back up, left it again. Came back to it over 60 hours in the slab. It still wasn't dry. At this point, I decided I'll just pull the form off anyway, because this thing is just already a write-off. Something's clearly wrong with it. So I started removing the form, and it's just crumbling apart in my hands. Well, this is 2 slabs that failed now. Get it. Unbelievable. More of the corner broke off. One corner completely fell off when I was trying to actually remove the top piece of melamine off of it. And when I did finally get the entire top off, it ripped off the entire cream layer with the melamine, and it stuck to the melamine and just basically completely tore apart and exposed my slab. I could even see my reinforcement inside of the slab. This slab's just dry. I don't know what else I could possibly do. Just falls off. Look at that. What a piece of crap. I don't even know what to say. I was stumped, I was frustrated, I was confused. So far, what was supposed to be an easy slab was starting to cost a fair amount of money and was really starting to delay my video, because obviously there's a lot of waiting involved with concrete. So at that point, I just had to walk away and clear my head, try and keep my sanity intact. And I kept thinking to myself, there's no way that I should be having this many problems and that this company should sell a mix like this or something like that. So I thought that this had to work better. So I did something that everybody hates doing. I asked for help. I reached out to the company. And at first I got somebody and then they bounced me, it felt like I think up the chain to somebody else, and then I got bounced up the chain again. And then I got an answer that I wasn't too happy with, to be honest. And again, I was frustrated and I let them know about my frustrations. I was trying to be as nice and civil as possible. Obviously I didn't want to, berate anybody or anything like that, but I made my frustrations known to the company and that I wanted to figure this out. And very shortly after that, like I'm talking within minutes, I had a phone call from one of their top concrete guys in the company. He's like one of their chemists or mixologists or something like that. He knows all about the formulations anyway. Guy was crazy smart, as he should be. So anyways, he ended up phoning me and we ended up having a really good conversation. He was super nice, genuinely wanted to figure this out. And he asked me a ton of questions, from the tools to the materials I was using to the methods I was using, whole bunch of stuff. I also asked him a bunch of questions on things. Kind of skip over all that. We talked for over half an hour and turns out most of what I was doing was correct. So that was good. With the exception of flow control. He basically told me that with a couple of the ingredients that were in their mix, flow control may not have played very nicely with it. And I told him that I didn't use it very often, just when I panicked. He also just wanted me to change my mixing paddle. The one I have is more meant for like paint and stuff, and it doesn't really do a good job of scraping it off the sides, which I found that out. So he wanted me to change my mixing paddle, so I'm gonna go do that. And he also just wants me to change when I added the dye to the mix. He's found that adding the dye with the water actually can lead to some weird absorption into the concrete, and adding it after the fact, once the concrete is mixed, tends to give better results. I've done both, so I'm just gonna keep mixing it after the fact, just like he suggested. Anyways, after a while, he wanted me to send him a picture of the side of the bag with the lot number of the concrete so he can figure out exactly where it came from, how old it was, and he was gonna do some more digging. So I sent him those pictures and we hung up the phone. Very shortly later, and keep in mind, this was maybe all within a day, day and a half, something like that, he had actually got back to me. Now here's the thing, I live in a humongous province, but we got a very small population. And there's only one place in the whole province that even gets this stuff in. Now because it's a special order for that company, it ends up sitting for quite a while. He's pretty sure I had really old concrete. So turns out I was kind of starting off on the wrong foot right from the get-go. Now he's gonna do some more digging. He's gonna try and get that stuff pulled and replaced so nobody else has these problems either. So it was good to see. Now here's where everything started to kind of look up. The company didn't just shrug this stuff off. They're personally driving out fresh concrete to me in a couple of days from 8 hours away, which is awesome to me. That's fantastic, insane customer service. Love that. Now he's gonna be replacing the concrete that I've already bought and used and failed with some brand new bags of that exact same mix that are very fresh. He's very confident that with the tweaks that we've talked about with my procedures and my mixing process and stuff, with fresh concrete, I'm gonna have great results. He's also gonna be bringing me out a couple of bags of a different type of concrete from within their parent company umbrella that he's used quite often, and he's very confident I'll also have good results with. And then I can kind of make up my mind which one I want to keep using in the future. But he's super confident that I'll have great results with both of them moving forward. So we'll see. Now, here's kind of the lesson and the takeaway I've got from all this. Sometimes the problem isn't you. Sometimes the problem can be your tools. Sometimes it can be your materials. Sometimes it can be a process. And sometimes it can be you. But the important part is that you keep pressing forward. You keep trying and striving for more. Sometimes you need to walk away. Don't quit, but walk away. And sometimes you just need to ask for help, whether it's reaching out to the company or whether you guys reach out to me and see if I can help you with something that you're stuck on in your project. Sometimes you gotta ask for help. And I would argue that we learn more in our struggles and our failures than we do in our successes. Sure, success is nice, don't get me wrong. I would love to just have things go my way. But if you know where to look anytime you have something go wrong, there's a lesson to be learned there so you don't make it again, and that makes you better. The way I look at it, every project is a story of trials and tribulations and failures and learning and struggles and persistence and the entire story of what it took to get that piece across the finish line. So if I can survive all of my failures, you guys can survive whatever your project throws at you. So keep moving, keep trying, keep failing forward, and keep at it, and you'll eventually get there. So when I finally get my slab poured next week here, hopefully we'll have a redemption arc coming, but I hope you guys enjoyed this tale of failures, and thanks very much for watching, you guys. I really do appreciate it. Do all the things down below, that would be amazing, but otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Later.